Zhang Ling sat backstage, the bright lights of the waiting room casting a soft glow over his face as he scrolled through his phone. Beside him, Tian Shui was busy laughing at a funny video, her bright energy instantly filling the quiet space. They had spent the last few months working tirelessly on their drama set, sharing long hours, late-night script readings, and countless unforgettable memories. Tonight was supposed to be just another routine promotional live stream to engage with their loving fans, but destiny had a completely different plan in mind for both of them. As the countdown clock ticked down to 0, the floor manager signaled them that it was time to go live. Millions of eager fans immediately flooded the stream, sending a waterfall of digital hearts and ecstatic comments across the screen. Zhang Ling flashed his signature warm smile, adjusting his microphone while gracefully greeting the audience. Tian Shui chimed in right beside him, her cheerful voice adding an extra layer of warmth to the broadcast. The atmosphere felt light, cozy, and wonderfully comfortable as they began answering fan questions. The comment section moved at lightning speed, a blur of names, shipping shipper tags, and enthusiastic questions about their on-screen chemistry. Neither of them expected the chat to take such a bold turn when a prominent super fan asked a very direct, deeply personal question. The comment boldly requested them to describe their absolute ideal partner in real life, pushing past the boundaries of standard drama promotion. A momentary hush fell over the room as the moderators tried to filter the chaos, but Zhang Ling had already caught the text glowing brightly on the screen. Instead of dodging the question or giving a safe, PR-approved scripted answer, Zhang Ling felt a sudden wave of quiet courage wash over him. He turned his head slowly to look at Tian Shui, who was currently sipping water from a paper cup and looking completely oblivious to the sudden shift in his demeanor. His gaze lingered on her profile for a few seconds longer than usual, filled with a fondness that he usually tried hard to mask in front of the public eye. When he finally turned back to face the camera lens, his expression was entirely earnest and remarkably vulnerable. Without a single trace of hesitation in his voice, Zhang Ling began to paint a vivid picture of the person who held the key to his heart. He spoke of someone whose laughter could effortlessly brighten even the darkest, most exhausting days on a film set. He described a soul that was fiercely authentic, unpretentious, and completely radiant, refusing to hide behind fake polite masks. Every single detail he listed mapped out the exact personality traits that Tian Shui naturally embodied every single day of her life. The studio crew froze in absolute shock, exchanging wide-eyed glances as they realized the sheer magnitude of what was happening live on air. Tian Shui stopped mid-sip, her hand pausing halfway to the table as her eyes widened in sudden, utter disbelief. She slowly turned to look at him, her cheeks flushing a delicate shade of pink as her heart began to race wildly against her ribs. The chat box completely crashed for a brief second as millions of viewers stopped typing, collectively holding their breath at the sheer boldness of his confession. Leaning slightly closer to the microphone, Zhang Ling made it impossible for anyone to misinterpret his heartfelt words or write them off as a mere joke. He confessed that his ideal future wife was someone who loved food just as much as she loved life, someone who found joy in the smallest, simplest moments. He recalled how she could turn a boring rainy afternoon into an absolute adventure filled with contagious giggles and bright smiles. The sincerity radiating from his voice stripped away all the usual barriers of celebrity culture, leaving only raw, undeniable truth. Tian Shui felt a warm wave of emotion flood her chest, threatening to bring happy tears to her eyes right there on national broadcast. She had spent months convincing herself that her growing feelings for him were a one-way street born out of intense filming schedules. Yet, sitting right here under the glaring studio lights, he was laying his true feelings bare for the entire world to witness without any fear. She reached out impulsively and gently nudged his arm, a nervous yet deeply affectionate smile breaking across her lovely face. The live stream comments exploded back to life with millions of fans screaming, crying, and celebrating the unprecedented romantic revelation unfolding before their eyes. Hashtags featuring their names immediately shot to the #1 trending spot worldwide as the internet went into a complete frenzy. Producers behind the camera frantically gestured for them to steer the conversation back to the drama, but neither of them paid any attention to the frantic signals. They were entirely locked in their own private universe, completely oblivious to the digital earthquake they had just triggered. Zhang Ling looked deep into Tian Shui's sparkling eyes, his own gaze softening into a look of pure, unadulterated devotion. He added the final piece to his description, stating that his future wife must be someone who made him want to work harder every single day just to see her happy. He wanted a partner who felt like home, a safe harbor where he could finally drop all his armor and simply be himself. As those final words settled into the quiet room, the unspoken tension between them finally dissolved into a sweet, mutual understanding. When the live stream finally ended with a rushed goodbye and a sudden cut to the black screen, the studio erupted into loud whispers and cheers. Tian Shui buried her face in her hands, her cheeks burning red from embarrassment, yet a massive grin refused to leave her lips. Zhang Ling chuckled softly, gently pulling her hands away from her face and looking at her with an endearing, apologetic puppy dog expression. He whispered a quiet question asking if he had crossed too many lines, but she just shook her head with a radiant giggle. They packed up their belongings and walked out of the studio building together under the cool embrace of the midnight starry sky. The chaotic noise of the production crew faded into the background as they strolled side by side down the quiet, tree-lined pathway. The digital world was still going absolutely wild with speculation, articles, and fan edits analyzing every single micro-expression from the broadcast. However, walking in the peaceful night air, neither of them cared about the upcoming media storm or the headlines waiting for them tomorrow. Zhang Ling gently slipped his hand into hers, their fingers naturally interlocking as if they had done it a million times before in another lifetime. Tian Shui squeezed his hand back tightly, feeling a deep sense of peace wash over her weary soul after months of hiding their bond. They talked about how crazy the live stream had been, sharing light-hearted laughs about the absolute panic on the producer's face. Yet beneath the playful banter, there was a profound weight of commitment that neither of them needed to explicitly state aloud. The car ride back to their respective apartments was filled with comfortable silence, punctuated only by the soft hum of the radio playing a romantic ballad. As the vehicle pulled up outside Tian Shui's building, Zhang Ling stepped out to walk her safely to the lobby entrance. The glowing street lamps cast long, dancing shadows on the pavement, framing the quiet moment in a cinematic, magical glow. They stood facing each other for a long moment, reluctant to let the evening end and return to their separate lives. Tian Shui looked up at him, her eyes reflecting the gentle streetlights as she softly thanked him for the courage he showed tonight. She admitted that she never imagined anyone would ever choose to confess their heart in such a loud, unmistakable way. Zhang Ling smiled tenderly, stepping a fraction closer so she could hear the absolute sincerity in his lowered voice. He told her that hiding how he felt was no longer an option because she deserved all the love and honesty in the world. He promised right then and there that his words on the live stream were not just for the cameras, but a genuine vow from his soul. Tian Shui felt her heart melt completely, knowing that this was only the very beginning of a long, beautiful journey together. She stood on her tiptoes and pressed a soft, lingering kiss to his cheek, whispering a sweet agreement that left him entirely spellbound. With a final wave and a lingering look of deep affection, she turned and walked through the glass doors of her building. Zhang Ling stood on the pavement for a long time watching her disappear into the lobby, a bright, foolish smile plastered across his face. He walked back to his car with a lighter step, feeling as though he could conquer the entire world simply knowing she felt the same way. The next morning, the entertainment news headlines were entirely dominated by their names, packed with endless theories and speculations from eager reporters. Yet, when his manager called him in a mild panic, Zhang Ling just laughed it off with absolute calm and unshakable happiness. Tian Shui woke up to her phone buzzing continuously with messages from friends, family, and brand partners asking for the big truth. Instead of panicking or hiding away from the public eye, she opened her messaging app and sent a simple, direct text to Zhang Ling. Her message asked if he was ready to face the world together now that the massive secret was finally out in the open. His reply arrived within a microsecond, containing a simple photo of his coffee cup next to hers from yesterday and a bold promise. That afternoon, they both decided to take a brief break from social media to enjoy a quiet, ordinary date away from prying eyes. They visited a small, hidden bakery tucked away in a quiet alleyway where they could sit without worrying about flashing cameras. Sitting across from each other in the cozy booth, they laughed about the dramatic reactions of their fans and the funny news articles. It felt incredible to finally sit in public without wearing caps and masks, letting the warm sunlight wash over their genuine smiles. As the weeks rolled on, the public frenzy slowly transitioned from shock to overwhelming support, turning them into the nation's favorite real-life couple. Fans began piecing together old behind-the-scenes clips from their drama, noticing countless hidden glances and sweet gestures they had missed before. Every single interview they did afterward became a masterclass in hard eyes, with both of them unable to hide their mutual adoration. Their chemistry on and off the screen became an unstoppable force, captivating the hearts of millions across the globe. Working on new projects together suddenly felt entirely different now that there were no walls or unspoken boundaries left between them. On set, a simple glance across the room was enough to communicate a whole paragraph of inside jokes and deep affection. The directors often joked that they didn't even need to act anymore because the genuine romance radiating from them was entirely palpable. They supported each other through exhausting night shoots, sharing warm cups of tea and wrapping blankets around each other's shoulders during breaks. Behind closed doors, their relationship blossomed into a partnership built on absolute trust, shared dreams, and endless bowls of late-night noodles. They spent their rare days off cooking together in the kitchen, arguing playfully over who made the better spicy hot pot. Zhang Ling loved watching Tian Shui dance around the kitchen singing off-key to her favorite upbeat pop songs while stirring the pot. Those quiet, ordinary moments meant infinitely more to him than any grand award or massive box office milestone. Tian Shui found a true sense of safety in Zhang Linghei's arms, realizing that he was everything she had ever dreamed of in a life partner. Whenever anxiety about their public status crept into her mind, he was always there to hold her hand and reassure her gently. He reminded her that they were writing their own story on their own terms, far away from the manufactured scripts of the industry. Their bond grew stronger with every passing season, weathering the storms of fame with grace and unwavering loyalty. As the years passed, their careers soared to even greater heights, establishing them both as powerhouse actors in the competitive entertainment landscape. Yet, no matter how busy their schedules got, they always made sure to prioritize each other above all else in their lives. They celebrated every milestone, every award, and every personal victory together with quiet dinners and heartfelt conversations. The promise Zhang Ling made on that unforgettable